Good day and welcome back to the Student StarCraft AI Tournament. This week we have, well, not the game of Andrew Smith versus Tyr Protoss, because we are going to do that later. I had wanted to start with all the, well, shall we say the lower half. So I'm going to show you this. So top 5, Bereaver, McRave, TSCMU random, which will not be participating in the knockout phase because TSCMU is involved with the Facebook bot. Killerbot, Ironbot, Steamhammer, New Admin Zerg, Forpoo, hello, Tyr Protoss, very well. And Literbot, Willybot, Microwave, Black Crowd, Thomas Vader, Icelab, Kilo, Eric Hammer, Cherry Pie, Dave Churchill, Carsten Nielsen, Purple Cheese, Nightcat, and this is the cutoff zone for the top 16. And then we have the lower half, and to my sad surprise, I see a lot of students from the University of Carlos III in Madrid. UC3 Manolo bot, which for some reason the last bot gets duplicated for some, I don't know why. Laura Martin Gallardo, Guillermo Aguita Peras, well then FTT, FT Tank, TR, I don't know. Blonde, WS31, Haupan, and then Lavatar, and of course Goliath, and here we go, and of course there is somewhat higher up, it's Ekber, and sporting a win rate of more than 50%, which for a University of Carlos III bot is quite unique. So without further ado, let's see the bot called 100,382,319 is playing Terran and is going out for a scout. At the other end of the map we've got Pineapple Cactus, New Zerg on the block, albeit not from the University of Carlos III, but I thought I'd show it because it's not really one of the top dogs at the moment, and if we are going to see what these new bots are up to, we better not face them off against a 4-pooler or against one of the top 5, I'd say. So, yeah, there we go. The scouting probe is messed up. I think that might be due in part to these empty minerals, 0 minerals, which you still have got to mine before you can pass this ramp. And now we see a lot of Zerglings. Oh dear, oh dear, the first scouting SCV is done, and the Zerglings make their way into the base. But although 100 has got 500 minerals, there are no Marines yet, so that's going to be quite unfortunate. And behind this, Pineapple Cactus is going to drone a little bit more and take an expansion. But as you can see, this is only going to go one way, one Marine coming out, but it's a little bit late. And that's very unfortunate because, well, it's going to cost you the game. So, close but no cigar. And let's hop into the next game, which will be Goliath versus Ekber, and these are the two best bots of University of Carlos III. Of course, the round-robin group phase will feature every bot playing each other twice, I believe, so pure coincidence that I could show 2 of these bots in close combat. And all of them appear to be Terrans, so that's something something interesting. We see a barracks first, and here we see, what do we see? Depot first versus barrack first, and Goliath is going for a Marine and is positioning that at the ramp, so that's very well done, which might have prevented any kind of 4-poolery, and only then a depot and a refinery. Quite a bit of workers for ECG, I'm calling EC for Ekber. Well, I need to ask that coder how to pronounce that because that's quite beyond me. EC is going for a bunker at the top, that's even better. And of course these bots can sort of handle a 4-pool, so that's okay. Well, this one I don't know, depending on scouting, because if you start with the depot first, you're going to be in a little bit of stress because of the rushes. Now, what have we here? We've got more depots, 1 barracks, and Ekbert is going for an academy. And the eBay, let's have a peek at what's brewing. What's brewing is range and +1, so that's very well done. Medic as well. And Goliath seems to be doing it all of one barracks with only only Marines. So you can probably imagine that it's going to be a rough fight for Goliath. Now Ekber EC is going Ekbert. If I'm calling Ekbird, that would be Ekbird. Doesn't make sense, but I'm calling it EC. EC is mulling about with its units a little bit, I think perhaps because the exit is blocked by this small group here. And at the other end of the map we finally see another barracks. Gas is being mined, 1500 in the bank, but nothing's been done with it, and this SCV obviously can't exit because the ramp is blocked here as well. And Ekbert has got a turret as well, so any kind of DT timing might be undone with this. Lurker timing I think as well. And you can see 2 ebays, which will mean that +1/+1 is done. And I'm actually waiting for Stim, because Stim is going to be such a boon. Oh dear. Sorry. Yeah, we'll just caught that. Oh well, Stim's here. Okay, so Ekbert has Stim. So Stim Marines with medics versus unupgraded Marines without Stim and without medics. It goes like this, as could have been imagined. And immediately after another base, so that's pretty good. And well, this is a matter of time only, I'd say. So that's not really interesting, but I want to see more of EC. And let's EC. Let's see how he is going to do against a player like Arakama, which is a nice large replay, and I think that is going to be great. So Ekbert, having demolished Goliath, which is one of the other better bots of the University of Carlos III, is going to play Arakama, and Arakama used to be number 2 because it could beat Iron reliably. Now it cannot do so any longer, so it's dropped a little bit. But it's still a pretty decent Zerg, and we're going to find out how it's going to do versus this nice bio build with an expansion from EC. And Arakama's going for the quick poo with an extra overlord, so it's not really the fastest time for 6 links, but then you've got some units out on the map and you can see what's brewing. So there we go, quick marine, quick bunker for Ekbert and Eki. And now has got 2 marines in the bunker and 2 SCVs as well, so that's okay. But as you can see, more lings are coming up, and now 3 marines. But these SCVs seem to have things well under control, and for some reason these lings are very afraid of an SCV, and now they kill one, and the other one is not as well. But Arakama's got the natural up, has got 13, 14 workers and another in-base 3rd macro hatchery. That's very well done. But this bunker at the top is locking things down quite nicely. Only this tandem of SCVs is bothering me a little bit because, well, these Zerglings could kill them, and as they will be replaced, that's not really going to work. But for the time being, Arakama isn't really pushing. So instead taking a 3rd. Gas is there, we've got an idle drone, that's unusual, and lair has been started, so perhaps kind of muta play, perhaps lurkers. And now the medics are out, and we can see the upgrades. Stim done, and the +1 in range, so I'd say that's the right priority for a Terran going bio. And Arakama is, lots of links coming up, and then Aspire. So that, build order-wise, I think is okay. And now this medic is saving a lot of lives. I think it's okay. Take a 3rd, build Aspire, and then put some extra pressure, or just have some extra army ready. And you can see that these Marines in small numbers can't really hold on against the Zergling wave. And even if the Terran isn't really gaining ground, or if the Zerg isn't gaining ground by this wave of Zerglings, I wanted to say, at least it keeps the Terran on its feet and on its toes, and you can do all kinds of stuff behind that. So lots of Zerglings coming up. Spire is done, Evo Chamber, Hydra Den, and the 4th being taken. So this is going to be a game of turret defense. especially since these Marines are all stimmed and there is... oh, well, there is a medic now. Oh, and there is an Overlord, which is being dealt with. But I think the danger is getting out on the low ground. A fire bat might help enormously. The gas is there. Worker saturation isn't the highest, but could be worse. The problem, of course, is that Arakama is going to take over the map. 4th started, 3rd up, and the Spire is done as well. And now we see some Hydras too. Upgrade-wise, it's going to be a Hydra play, looks like, and production-wise, it's drones and Hydras. So versus Stim Bio, it's not the best, especially if you get this critical mass of Marines and Medics. It's going to hurt you quite a lot. And you can see all these Zerg units are dying, and the only result is the Medics getting a little bit low, but there are more Medics in the rear, so for the time being okay. And Ekber is not really, I'm going to say Ekber. Ekber is going not going to take an expansion, while Arakama is set to take the 5th. Ha! Not the amendment, but the 5th base. So Ekber being a little bit cautious on the high ground with his units, and I think there is some rand blockage going on, which shouldn't be there. Might push a little bit forward, because with Bio you can hold a lot. Oh, this is going to be close if these medics don't catch up. But for the time being, the Marines have got things well under control, and this medic is being stupid, which will cost lives. But now more medics are out and about, and Ekber should be saving some money for a command center. Of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th base, 6th base being taken already. And now the Hydra numbers are just too big, and I think they've got some upgrades as well. Overlord speed is there, but now the rest of the Marines is coming down, and that's quite an army. So if you keep trickling in units one at a time, versus Stint Marines with medics somewhere in the rear, it's going to be a royal pain. But you can see the map is being colonized by Zerg, and even a scouting Overlord. So Arakama is really getting underway. Now has got 60 workers, but this death train is going to be a major problem, as these units are relatively well grouped together. Oh, we've got a queen, that's always nice to see. And you can see these Hydras sort of melt, and there's only 3 Sunkens, but now some attack from the rear as well. But 3 Sunkens aren't going to hold forever. With the medics waiting ahead, killing this Lurker might be good. And now the drones are under attack. Oh, and the Lurker. Now we will see if Ekber has got the ability to scan, and it looks like it doesn't. So that's going to be a bit of a drain on its resources. Are there more? There are more lurkers coming. So, oh, this expeditionary force is in for a sad, sad fight. Now 3 lurkers. Yeah, that is the last bit. So basically trading the large army for a bunch of medics. And that will surely be the game, because Arakama is exploding on the map. It's got all sorts of tech. It's got the hive. It's got so many bases. It's got only not even 50 workers. That's not really the most, but I can somewhat understand. Some have been killed. And now a large army is converging upon these 4 infanterists with this poor medic. And you can see the army disparity is even going to grow. It's 26 versus 19. There is no natural being taken by Ekber, and Ekber is, well, not really. Some SCVs have gotten stuck as well, so perhaps that's influencing its build order. And now we've got 21 supply, but is there a comsat? There is a comsat. It's got full energy, but the scanning code hasn't been implemented, and that's very unfortunate. What's also unfortunate for Zergs, that these lurkers are so far in the rear, and you can really see these Marines doing a lot of damage. Of course, there is a turret, so that is going to allow Terran to keep these lurkers in check. With the range of this bunker, should be repaired though, and looks like it is going to be. So you can see why Ekber is doing pretty well. It can decide when it's safe to move out, i.e. not now. And it can defend pretty well. It's got stims, got range, hasn't got a scan. That's going to be bloody expensive, but hey, you can't have it all. Arakama, meanwhile, is trying to take another base now from 74 workers being transferred all over the map. And it's got, oh dear, it's got a Defiler Mount, Ultra Cavern. Let's look at the upgrades. Got Consumes, got Brutling, got Plague, Got a lot of upgrades, ultra speed, zergling speed, everything's being done at once. And this lurker is having a bit of a field day because the medics are out of energy, and although there is a little bit of money in the mineral fields of Ekber, you can see where this is going, can't you? And ooh, this lurker is retiring, that's unfortunate. Unfortunate if you are perceiving this from a Terran point of view. But now you see all kinds of... What are these units doing here, I really wonder. You see all hive clusters brimming and 75 workers, and now it's going to be all about units. 2 defilers, hydras galore, lots of zerglings. What we will see, we've got ultras in production, we've got zerglings, we've got even more overlord because Arakama is supply block, lots of money in the bank. And this queen is keeping tabs on things, and I can't really see in this OpenBW if someone has gotten infected, so that's nasty. And Arakama is only building 1 overlord at a time, it looks like. That's 1, oh no, that's 2, it's building more than 1 at once, but it could do with a couple of more overlords. But now we've got the swarm, we've got the whirlwind defilers in the rear, and now more swarms are going to be cast. And unfortunately they're going to be cast at the wrong location. That's chapter 2 of Defiler use. But slowly but surely tunneling towards them. Oh, that was a pretty good plague, and all the units are down, or at least plagued, and more consumes going off. The queen dies, but now the swarm has reached this this ramp. We've got lurkers, unfortunately they're not buried at the right location, but now we've got the ultras. The entire entry, the entire natural is plagued and swarmed, and it's not really going to go anywhere from here, is it? Mineral patches are getting low, and Arakama is spinning right out of control. The base is overrun with hydras. Where are the ultras? Moving ultras up a ramp, and still more plagues coming off. So that's taking your time and then doing it thoroughly. Killing the enemy, that is, and now the linger over. Okay, so that's the GG. Ekber, the nice play, and congratulations on being the best of your pack of the University of Carlos III for the moment. Lots of work ahead, but of course, if you are coding brute war AI, it is never done, and even Arakama with this plethora of Gosu units and swarms and consumes and plagues and all kinds of units, even Arakama is not in the top 10 at the moment. So, yeah, that's quite impressive. Level of skill has risen so much over the last year. I'm really interested to see who's going to take this, but let's not get over... no, Gemet. Gemet isn't really... where's Gemet? Gemet is pretty low as well. 14% win rate, 9 wins, 55 losses. That's pretty steep. So let's see how it comes by that score. We've got the public's favorite, Oleg Ostromov, and Oleg is, well, very old school. Was on the stream, but he's been coding PokerBot. Apparently there is more money to be made in there, so that's understandable. But, oh, that's nice. Oleg is one of the old 2013 Terrans, which can play a fair game, so I thought, well, perhaps it's interesting to see how Gemet is going to fare. Gemet with the 2 gateways, and then just going to A-move the first zealot. And the second one as well, so that's going to be quite a bit of zealots. And Oleg with the bunker. But the zealot just runs by, and that's unfortunate, but Oleg is unfazed, just loading up marines. And the problem is that these zealots don't seem to be taking the marines seriously, and although the marine is not really the strongest unit, if you are going to just run by a bunker... Oh no, now they're attacking the marines, and 1 or 2 may die. But that's 200 mineral lost for the cost of 50 for Terran. And there is a medic as well. So now it's going to be a little bit imber. The Marines are not really defending that. Oh, it's going for the medic. That's good. But there is another one. So the other medic is okay again. Now Gemet is going to build zealots, I believe, and nothing else brewing. And now we've got fire bats and medics, so that's only going to take you so far. And Stim will be done momentarily. Oh, Stim is done. And running zealots into this cluster of bio is not really the most efficient use of your money. And it's reflected in the army supply size. It's 16 versus 8 now. And Jamet isn't really building any tech, is not doing anything. Oh, and now here comes the hammer with a little bit of SUVing for good measure. These two zealots don't really want to engage all that. And all the rallies for Protoss are going to... oh dear, are going to be absorbed as well by this push. It's gathering, and because if you've got this long line and you are going to hit the enemy, it's better to gather up first and hit them all at once. The medics are pretty low. There are only 3 medics, and with all that stim going off, will we see more medics? Perhaps, but not really right now. And now the Tone Blob is moving, and so much stim is going on. The speed is enormous, and Jamet has got an army supply of 0. It's now not even building anything, it looks like. Well, it's only got 2 gates. So that's the game, and Oleg Ostromov deals with Jamet. Jamet, of course, from the Gold Project at the University of Delft in the Netherlands. But I don't believe it's maintained any longer, and that shows it's it's falling prey to a decent Terran. So that's the GG, and let's hop into the next game and close this one. It is a TVT between 2 students of the University of Carlos III from Madrid. It is Guillermo Aguitaperas versus Juvatar. I don't know. Juvatar, I think. Juvatar. I'll call it Lovatar because that's more lovable, isn't it? And what the bloody hell is this? Whoever has ever seen a build start out with an eBay, and at the other end of the map the build is starting out with a refinery, so you can see why these bots aren't really scoring the big points at the moment. Lovatar now at 7 workers, and Guillermo isn't... God, this is not good. We've got the barracks when the marine is training, that's pretty good. While Guillermo is only mining minerals at this point, so that's unfortunate. The SUV is still scouting, and Guillermo is trying to retire. Oh, that's pretty pro. Turret build over there. And will we see a depot? We'll even see a depot, that's pretty pro. And where is my friend the marine? It's moving from the ramp to the barracks and back again. And now the depot's finished, another marine has been started. And Guillermo is still only mining minerals, I don't know what it is. Perhaps it wants to build fire bats, but forgot the barracks, I really can't say. Another barracks coming up by Lovatar. And there we go, there we go. Oh, now the refinery, and perhaps now some upgrades as well. And Guillermo foolhardily persists in not building anything. So we've got a turret and 2 barracks pumping, upgrades coming, and the academy's flashing as well. What's that? That's stim and +1, and now range starting as well. Ooh, and the factory, that's pretty cool. What's the factory going to do? It's going to build something, that's pretty pro. And Guillermo's still not doing anything, now has, with only 9 workers, almost gained 4,000k in the bank. And we've got some vultures as well. So we've got vultures, more barracks. Is this going to be a starport? Yes, it is. Oh, wow, that's pretty cool. No expansion yet, and the army is only 29, so I don't know what that's about. 42 supply, and no one is building a depot. That might be inconvenient. And now you can see both of these bots stacking up the money, and it's not really working, is it? Oh, they're going! Haha, they are going, and some supply will be freed up momentarily. Oh no, because Guillermo doesn't have any combat units. Okay, GG, Lovatar wins, and let's hop into the next game, which is Laura Martin Gallardo versus FT Tank TR. So FT versus Laura. Laura, hi, how are you? We have, if that name is... Oh, we have a lady in our midst. That's been a while. In the old class of 2013 there were a couple, but sadly they were all deactivated because they didn't... The bots sort of weren't up to spec anymore and they were no longer being maintained. So that's unfortunate, but sad reality. And Laura is going to build first a nothing, while FT is going for the barracks and has found the ramp. So these are, for these starting bots, are so benchmarks, because first you've got to start your bot, you've got to mine minerals, and then you've got to do something from there. Of course, the first step has been made by Laura, but the second one unfortunately not. And next step is building units attack, which is happening, and then you've got things like finding the ramp, guarding it, and that's going to be a quick and brutal GG. So last one, it is UC3 Manolo bot versus Blon WS31. Going to call him Blon. Blon versus Manolo it is, and Manolo and Blon are Terrans. So we got quite a bit of Terrans from the University of Carlos III from Madrid, and only 1 or 2 or 3 are really functioning, so that's about half. That's okay, that's decent. And the rest is either completely unfunctioning or we saw Laura mine minerals, and that's unfortunate. So both of these bots can at least build depots, and the barracks, I think there's going to be barracks, let it not be a depot again, and build some units. Oh, and this marine is going for the enemy already, that's pretty pro. And we've got, oh, perhaps got a bunker as well, so that's step 2 or 3, just build a bunker, put a marine in, oh, and build another bunker just to be safe, because if the enemy is only going to attack with bio, with 2 bunkers for the marines, you're going to go far. So, yeah, there we go, going for a factory. Will we see, I saw a vulture in the game before the previous game. Oh, this is unfortunate, it's getting stuck here. And lots of fire bats, so that's cool. Can't place a comsat due to this, so building placement is something else. Oh, we've got a tank as well, so that's pretty cool. Have we got any upgrades? No, we haven't got any upgrades yet. And supply-wise, it's about equal, but of course, whoa, hello. Building and unit placement is still something of an issue. This tank is drifting, I believe it's called. This SCV is standing idly by, and I believe we've got 4 SCVs on the refinery. That's unfortunate, and we've got lots of fire bats, no medics, and oh, another command center and the barracks. That's pretty pro. Not really the best, but hey, what can you say? And the question now is, this tank still skiving out. We have got no siege mode, we just got a couple of tanks, 2 bunkers, and the problem is that these units are going to be shelled by these marines before they hit the enemy base, and if they are not really intent upon attacking, that's unfortunate. This barracks is now producing as well, and 2, oh, we've got another refinery. So expanding is happening, sort of. Depot building is happening as well, sort of, but lots of money in the bank by both players. And now you see that lots of marines all over the place. I'm going to speed it up just a notch. Oh, Manolo bot is stuck on supply. It doesn't progress beyond 44, and Blon isn't doing anything either. Oh, sorry, I missed that. And all at once, Manolo is exploding, but still the units aren't attacking anything, and not a shot has been fired at the blue Terran, which is very unfortunate, as there is a constant stream of marines and fire bats, and these marines surely should have been touched right now or burned to cinders. But Long is stuck at 51, and UC3 is now putting all the stops, having some issues placing a command center, but that's the least of the worries, because it's got quite a decent army supply. Hasn't got any upgrades, no, hasn't got any upgrades, so lots of gas in the bank. And I think that Blon is going to win this on score alone, because all the Terran units from Manolo aren't really attacking, and the marines are scouting out everything. That's cool, but as you're not going to fire at your enemy, it's going to be a sad fight. And I'm speeding it up just a little notch. And you can now see the main is mining out-ish. This base is slowly being mined, but not really all that amazing either. And these marines are just exposed versus waves and waves of fire bats. And I really like to have that kill counter to show how... Oh, this bunker was damaged. Hey, how did that happen? Or perhaps all the units are trying to attack this bunker. But they, because it's the closest to something that they see or know of, and these units over here are just being ignored. Okay, this base is... that's pretty pro bunker. Manolo is running out of money soon. Isn't taking another base. You can see the influx of units being slowly diminished over time. And I really like to know how many kills these marines have. Oh, now long distance mining, that's pretty well done. And that's the GG, must be the 90 minutes timeout. So this was the lower bit of the brackets. To remind you, we've got at the very top Bereaver, McGrave, TCMU Random in brackets will not be participating in the elimination phase. Killerbot, Mammarian Diveka, Ironbot, Steamhammer, Neo Admin Zerg. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, sorry. Ah, damn it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Steamhammer's 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 will be in the round of 16. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Cherry Pie at number 16, but the difference are minimal in this region. So Cherry Pie at the number 16 position, just about to get into the round of 16, and below that it's going to be struggling and hoping for a last good couple of games, because it will be hard. So now the recommendations I got. Of course, you can see at the top of the list, top of the screen, here in the top left, what you can do to support us. Not only support us financially by way of Patreon, and I must say that everyone who has subscribed already through Patreon, we've got Elf, that's Dutch for 11, isn't it? We've got we've got 11 Patreons already, so the hardware costs and the hosting costs for this tournament are covered, and so we'll be able to run this tournament for the foreseeable future, which is great. Still, we are trying to get 1 or 2 PhD students in Michael Chatichki, who is the director of the Student StarCraft AI tournament. He'd like to have some PhDs funded by Patreon. So if you enjoy what you are seeing, if you want to support the development of Brood War AI, please go to our webpage. Well, the address is everywhere, and you can support us on Patreon, and also let's have a look. It's quite an interesting website, but please support us. And also, what I saw was that people have been editing the Liquipedia page, so some bots which were in there are no longer actually part of the tournament, and others are. So the player page is, well, it's not really complete yet, but some edits have been made. And of course, if you've got a minute, give one of these players a Liquipedia page, so we have everything covered. It's a lot of work to do that if you're on your own like me. So now we've got Andrew Smith, bots called Skynet, and it is a go-to piece of coding from 2013. Blocking the ramp and going for some tech. Of course, the scouting probe can't get out, as you can see. And Tyr Protoss is the Protoss project by Simon Prince, and the author of Tyr, the Terran bot, which is pretty good as well. So yeah, there you go. Tyr taking the expansion while delaying the tech and the units and going for a Dark Templar, and the Dark Templar is going out immediately. Oh dear, 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 and Dark Templars from Skynet as well. Has anyone got a robo facility or anything? And the Dark Templar is going to get in, and that is going to be bloody. It's going for... oh dear, it's going for the buildings first. That's not good. And where are the Dark Templars of Skynet? Skynet, they are targeting it, but they can't really get into range, and it's going to be a bit of a muddle, because what these bots can do, they can see where a cloaked unit is. Unfortunately, they cannot target it. Oh, this one has been caught now, but this Dark Templar, these two Dark Templars are killing probes left and right. And Simon Prince is just building more and more units, more Dark Templars among them. No scouting of any kind, and Skynet is going for... oh dear, Dark Templars are everywhere. Skynet is going for another base, it looks like, but it hasn't really got the money and will have to mine some minerals first. Could cancel this one and build a nexus here, but I doubt that's going to happen. Yeah, it didn't get cancelled. So now there is a horde of angry DTs loose in Skynet's base, and Skynet is out of money, and it's got an army, so the army's now attacking. But there are Dark Templars as well, so that's very unfortunate. And Tyr, meanwhile, isn't building any kind of detection either. Oh, well, it's got a forge, so it could build a cannon. But it has lost the natural, and is now losing the main base as well, because Tyr's army is mulling all over the place, trying to find last pylon, which it will do momentarily, I fear. And yeah, there it goes. So the base trade doesn't really work, because Skynet gets eliminated by Tyr Protoss. GG! So next game, McRae versus Ironbot, and that is... let me have a small peek at the top. McRae number 2, Ironbot is 4 or 5, depending if you count TSMU or not. So this is really one of the rare top level matches being played in this group phase. Of course, due to the voting system, lots of players kept voting for Crazio, which isn't there, which is a great pity. Iron, McRae, and all Reaver, all the top bots got lots of votes. So it was really rare to see games between top and mid-tier players, or between mid-tier and lower-tier players. So that's very unfortunate. But every once in a while, I'd like to see, even with the round-robin phase, I like to see a really good game. And you can see that these are two of the better bots. We've got the SimCity reducing the size of the choke. And that's a pretty ballsy bunker rush, which is not being stopped at all by these Dragoons, but there are no Marines either, so it isn't really working for reasons, and Iron is going to do this with Vultures. Oh, now there is a Marine, and these goons are going completely crazy. And I really don't know what's up with them. They are not attacking anything. Oh, now they finally found the courage to attack things and are going for the bunker, but they can't really manage it. And now it's going to be a little bit bloody. Oh, and they finally clear up the bunker, and they clear up a couple of mines as well. So that's unfortunate, but as Protoss has got 2 bases versus Terran's 1. Oh dear, this is going to be close, I believe. But with life of the shield battery and a friendly fire mine, it's going to be okay. But the siege tank will need to be torn down fast, and the bunker as well. And now Iron has got a really good plan with a bunker and an SCV to repair, and a siege tank and another siege tank. Iron a little bit late with the natural, but I think it's got things well under control now. It's got the bunker, it's got 1 or 2 tanks, and a handful of vultures as well. And McRae really seems to be off the ball, and yeah, what can you do at this stage? But you could have done something earlier about that cannon, which was being built within the firing range of your goons. That was pretty bad. And now Ironbot is going to take its sweet time and demolish the Protoss base. Protoss, meanwhile, is trying to tech up, but it will need some really go-to tech, Storm or perhaps a Reaver. But now all the probes come off the line and they can't do anything anymore. So that is the game. That's the GG. Iron taking a game of McRae. Very well done. Let's get into the next game, which has been suggested as well. So thank you very much for everyone who has contributed to send me an email. You can see it in the top left. Send me an email with a good game, or a game which was interesting, or shows a particular AI thing which could be shown on the broadcast. And Geobot versus Nightcat was one of these games I was emailed as well, so let's see how it's going to turn out. Bunker placement a little bit off, 2 bunkers though, and oh, these lings are sort of stuck. Oh no, they're just gathering, seems like, and this drone is stuck, and the natural being built. And Nightcat, the big game hunter's bot, is going for just a lot of units and could hold quite a number of Zerglings. The question is, will it be able to do so? And I think the answer is going to be only just, because the bunker is coming into play now, and that was pretty close for Nightcat. So now 2 medics are all what remains of the forces of Nightcats. The last couple of lings went back home, and Gia is doing this on 8 workers. That's not an awful lot. And the question really is, what's going to happen next? Nightcat, with a lot of money in the bank, can't really spend it all. Has got a lot of workers, 14 workers for GeoBot now. And Gia, 16 workers, might really need another hatchery. You see the more modern Zergs have got this in-base hatchery over here, so you can reduce this choke, provide some vision at the ramp, perhaps place a sunken or a spore just for some in-base map control. And Nightcat is, by the looks of it, going for a big 1 base push. And the question is, what will Gia have to repel that? At the moment, not an awful lot. There is just 1.5 army supply in Zerglings. And once this Terran ball starts moving, you are going to need a little bit more than that to stop it. A couple of Sunkens though, in a nice concave, but yeah, well, I can't really see it happen at this moment. And a small expeditionary force and a natural being taken. Oh, there we go. And now it's 62 versus 7.5 army supply. Oh god, oh god. We've got lurkers though, and Nightcat has got a comsat, and I can't see how full of energy it is. So that's unfortunate. The first 2 medics get cut off and cut to pieces. That's very unfortunate. Nightcat just immediately taking all kinds of bases. GeoBot taking another one over there. So that's good, and another lurker's coming up, but I think it will be a little bit too late through the party, because these siege tanks are going to have something to do with them as well. Oh, and that is just too many lurkers to attack with pure bio. That's not going to work. And the medics are paying the price as well. A couple of lurkers catching shots, and I can't see how much energy there is on this one comsat. There is another comsat to be built, and a third one to be sure in the near future. Oh dear, and that drone. Oh, and the tanks! Oh, the lurkers, they burrow just in range of the foremost tank. Now the scan goes off, and with all these tanks, I think these lurkers will all be dead before the scan wears out. One more lurker, and a lot of friendly fire. So now all that's left is these tanks until the bio catches up. And I would say that these tanks are vulnerable to a well. Yeah, there are the lings and lots of friendly fire, and there you go. But now the bio reinforcements are there. 2 lings coming in from the rear while the tanks are in sieging. Now they are sieging, but now Nightcat is all over this with the marines and the tanks. The 2-0, and with the closest of holds, GeoBot does it. And 2 Sunkens nearly dead, handful of lings, also some of them badly damaged, and Nightcat is now going to stream in units, looks like. 3rd base up for GeoBot, but the drone count there is very, very low. 4 bases with comsats now, 3 bases, sorry, for Nightcat, so the lurker threat is a little bit reduced, but now we've got a lot of lings, and what are the lings going to do if this army is so way out of position? This siege tank and 2 marines are not really going to be able to hold this stream of lings. We've got a medic and another tank. This tank on the high ground with siege mode is going to do a lot of damage, but I think some SCVs are going to bite the dust. And this army, for some reason, is over here. There is a lurker coming in, being walked in very slowly. This base also very exposed. And now the drone saturation of the 3rd of GeoBot is increasing. The natural is going to be torn down. This tank on the high ground is still holding such a lot of kills. The scan goes off, but it's not in range of the siege tank, and now finally the siege tank does die, and there are more lings. So lots of hatcheries by GeoBot, and that Spire isn't really doing anything, and a small counter poke is coming as well. if this is going to be a sunken, it's going to have to build pretty fast, otherwise it's going to be too late. The 2 sunkens here, of course, are not needed at this moment, because there is no threat there, and the lurker on the ram gets killed. So lots of damage done to the main base of Nightcat. Nightcat with another base, so should be in an okay position. The sunkens with the drones and a handful of lings are again holding ever so closely, and this match is really good, but also really rather scrappy. And Geobot with 36 workers has got the money, but really ought to take 1 or 2 more bases just in case. And Nightcat now sending 2 tanks out on a suicide mission, considering how many lings there are over here. And as soon... oh no, there they come! And 1 volley of 2 tanks kills a lot of lings, damages some others. But now this Congo line of marines and medics and tanks is going to suffer horribly, because there are just so many Zerglings, and these medics are really good at buffering damage. Hello! That's pretty good. And healing as well. Have you got any upgrades for Zerg? Well, Zerg's got +1/+1 and the speed. Oh, and now the last marine dies, so next up... oh, they're going after the medics, they ignore the tanks, that is so horrible. Nightcat now mining here, the main of course is out, this base is populated already, and now the tanks are going to die, giving Geobot a little bit of respite to rebuild its base, its infrastructure, and more army is coming up. So now the Zerglings are in this base, and if this reinforcement train of marines isn't going to do something brilliant in the very near future, this base will be torn to shreds, although the SCVs are fighting quite well. They've got +1 armor, and the Zerglings aren't all that powerful, so they will suffer horribly as well. We've got a lurker though, and the lurker is going to be scanned and shot to pieces by these marines. However, the lings are still out there, and all the SCVs are dead. And if these 2 marines die... oh, and the other marines have arrived at this base. Is that drone transfer? 1 drone transfer from left to right, and the other one from right to left. These 2 sunkens will fall, but some more lings and hydras will come up, and 2 more sunkens in the rear. So Zerg should be safe-ish. This hydra might still die. Yep, there it goes. It just kicks it. And this drone just does it. And that's pretty good. So no more mining going on at this base. That base, yes. And every time, oh dear, that lurker is just in range of the comsat. So it's just going to be 2 comsats. And what is Geobot going to do now? It should really take another base, because the main is out, the natural is getting low, the third, well, what can you do with only a third? Some units stockpiled at all the bases, and they are being sent in again. This Overlord will not like it very much. And Geobot is now calling its Zerglings back, with 2 sunkens and the lurker. More lurkers coming up. You can't quite reliably hold this position. And now the command center is going to be under attack. The scan goes off, but there is no unit, unfortunately, which is a pity. These 3 marines with all the medics are trying to hold. 1 dies, and more friends are coming in from the rear. Now 2 lurkers going to take apart these 3 marines. Oh, they just evaded just in the nick of time. Overlord speed would have been handy, but with the lurker and 2 sunkens, I think this this last marine is dead already. So very unfortunate, but there you go. So Geobot again playing very, very scrappily, not really intent on taking the bases. That's really odd. Now a 4th, but that is at the time where the main has been down forever. And Geobot, you can see the map is crawling with lings. Another base has been started. Upgrade wise, not really the best, but well, what can you say? Nightcat's pretty low. Now transferring some workers, but the map is overrun with blue dots, which means trouble. So now, ooh, these lurkers get stuck on the comsat. That's unfortunate. But here come the Zerglings, and the Zerglings, oh god, oh god, they can't touch this 1 marine, and this 1 marine is doing so much damage. All these Zerglings here have been killed by this 1 marine. They can't touch it, The medic isn't healing, the marine isn't stimming, but the marine is just killing so many zerglings. And Geobot finally running away with this, could take more bases, but still filtering in the units one at a time, and all the zerglings are going to die here. That's absolutely beautiful. I really like to have that kill counter for a specific unit, because this marine must have tons. And Geobot not really taking another base, transferring some workers, got hive tech, nothing too fancy, and still this one marine is at it. There is a huge confederation of zerglings, nothing much else, no hivers, no lurkers trying to attack this one marine, and the entire base has been reduced to rubble, and no one is attacking the barracks, no one is attacking the medic, everyone wants to get in on this poor silly marine, and you can see it's going to take a while. So I'm going to speed it up. Geobot is sending all its lurkers to kill this base, but it's not really being done because they need to burrow before that, and all the lings are being sent over here to die. Oh, that's so sad. And the natural is getting mined out, and the third is getting low, the fourth is still mining, and every hatchery on the map is sending zerglings, and it's a constant stream from everywhere. And you can see this flock of zerglings is growing. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, and the marine is actually stinning. You can see Geobot now taking more bases, building more. And the weird thing, the only thing being built is zerglings in a hatchery. So this is all about zerglings, and there are 30-40 zerglings on the way. And of course the game has got 90 minutes before the winner is decided on points. And I really would like to look up who is winning this game, because this one marine must have killed hundreds of zerglings. Literally. Hundreds. And Geobot refuses, flat out refuses to build anything else but Zer. We've got a couple of spores now as Sunkens. That's pretty pro. But again, it's going to be all about the Zerglings, and all the Zerglings are here. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Now at 128 times the speed, and you can see in the production tab, it's only Zerglings. 256 times the speed, and you can only see the marine firing every once in a while because you can't really render every frame. And that is the GG. Geobot balks out, and Nightcat had found, this marine has found the perfect position to defend from. Next game, it's Cherry Pie versus Sijashu, and Cherry Pie isn't really impressing me as much as I feared it would, because it right before the tournament it played some very impressive games. Perhaps the learning is too much, and it's now playing new opponents every time. It will only play every opponent twice in this round robin phase, so if you've got a lot of learning in your bot, that's not really optimal. Drone trick, so 10 supply, and you can build another drone. Then build an overlord, and Cherry Pie is going for a handful of lings. Same thing happening at the end of Sijashu. So without further ado, these lings get to it, and Cherry Pie has got 5 unharmed workers, now 6, and 1 little bit of damage. So this is going to be a little bit of tug of war between these two players, but Cherry Pie seems to have the better of it, has got the better engagements, and it's a good thing that Sijashu has got the Sunken there. So with the Sunken, I think it might... Oh, but they are not fighting in the shade of the Sunken. That's very unfortunate. At the high ground, at the ramp, it might be a good position as well to fight. And now this Sunken's taking its toll. Natural started for Cherry Pie. And again, the lings of Overkill, because the bot of Sijashu is called Overkill. You should know that. Before you wonder what I'm on about. But Overkill and Cherry Pie are closely balanced. Worker-wise, Sijashu has Overkill with a little bit of an advantage, and now it's only one Sunken with 2 lings coming up. And now another Sunken is going to be built. Worker-wise, Sijishu is in a better position now, going for another hatchery. That's quite a lot of hatcheries. Might sooner do it with more tech. But now with 2 Sunkens and a handful of Lings, it's hard to really break that with Lings. You really need a lot of them. But Cherry Pie can now advance in worker count. It's got 3 hatcheries. I think this is going to be a Hydra. No, it can't be a Hydra then. It's going to be an Evo Chamber. Must be. It's going to be a hatchery. Surely not. Okay, well, you never know. And now oh, Cherry Pie is really doing this beautifully, but it can't really make up its mind and take an unnecessary lot of damage, and is going to fall. 3rd Sunken now started for overkill, but the real problem is that Cherry Pie is catching up in workers and has got more mineral fields to mine from. So although the saturation of Sijishu is not really the best, it is going to be worse and worse for Overkill in the long run. Overkill's still building workers, I like that, but really could do with a lurker or a muter, because once you hit the muter stage, all these links basically become, well, not worthless, but their worth drops a little bit. Now Cherry Pie with 16 workers and a lair started and a spore as well. Upgrade wise, link speed started at Overkill's, not yet, only at Cherry Pie's. So Overkill taking the natural. I don't think if that's wise, because the enemy still does have a superior force, and the army supply. Oh, there was a big, oh dear, I missed that. Yeah, there was a big run by, and now all the forces are getting back, and this is going to take a lot of units down, and the main army arrives just in time to prevent the destruction of the main hatchery, and the Lings of Overkill beat it out of there. Problem is that once link speed is done, the Lings of Cherry Pie might be able to take a couple of the Lings of Overkill's down, and also fare better in engagements. So Spire is starting here, and here we have no Spire but only a couple of spores. Worker count for Cherry Pie is too low. That's going to hurt it, and Overkill has been producing units now, 26, more than double the number of Cherry Pies, and soon there will also be muters, but the link count is superior. The economy of Overkill, albeit only on 1 base up until now, now 2 bases, no worker transfer, that's strange. And again, the sort of run by, and now the main army is going for a base trade, going for the natural hatchery. Oh, and the units are coming back for Overkill, and Overkill cleans the base. There is a muter out as well. That's pretty pro. And although the Spire of Cherry Pie has started and there are spores up everywhere, I think the Lings are going to be the problem. But just with a handful of Lings, Overkill gets repelled. But the problem is it's 1 muter versus a lot, and that is going to be an insurmountable task. Cherry Pie can do so well with so few units. With these spore colonies, it's quite impregnable, and now this muter is going to help, hopefully, to kill these Zerglings, perhaps, because there are no Sunkens here, so it's very, very exposed to Ling run-bys, and Overkill isn't really doing that great, and now you've got a handful of Lings in your base, and the muters have to come back. So the question is, what are the muters doing that they can... Oh, and again... the main... Oh, and it's a spore, and there are 2 Zerglings, 4-5 Zerglings, and Overkill really dropping the ball, building spores, but losing, oh dear, losing the natural completely, losing a lot of workers, and now Cherry Pie is looking a lot better because it's got two bases which are somewhat impregnable by means of spore colonies, and these muters, they really can't get anything done. Pick up an Overlord here or there, but they just catch a couple of spore balls and then catch a couple of Scourge as well, and the natural is gone. The second natural is gone as well, isn't cancelled. So Overkill really making a couple of capital mistakes. Cherry Pie should be taking another base, should be building workers, but for the time being it can just get stuff done. The last two Sunkens are being attacked by Mutas and Zerglings. That's not good. Overkill hanging on for dear life, army supply wise. Overkill is behind. So now you see what is going to happen. And the base overrun. There's no more ground defense. Of course there is anti-air, but the Mutas are not the problem, the Zerglings are, and the Zerglings are tearing things to bits. Cherry Pie with a very well balanced play might be a little bit more aggressive on the macro, but you can see how adaptive it is and how good it is to see when it can run in and do damage. And that is going to be the last spore, if only the... yeah, there it goes. Now it's attacked by Zerglings as well. And this is over. Overkill biting the dust. Cherry Pie running away with this despite a disadvantage in the early game and some good run-bys by Overkill. Cherry Pie taking it. And I really hope that Cherry Pie can generalize from its build orders, perhaps. If it says, well, I beat Overkill with this build order, if I face another Zerg, let's try the build order which worked versus the Zerg I've defeated already. So there we go. Sujashu has got money, has got supply, quite a lot of it actually. And Cherry Pie sitting back, not really doing too much. It's really heavy on the army production. It doesn't really want to build a lot of workers or eco. And make sure every last larvae is dead. And there it goes. So that's the GG. Now we've got another game which has been suggested to me. It's Ironbot, which we saw take down McGrave earlier. That's no mean feat at all. I really like to see that, because if you enter the elimination stages, it's not only about who you can beat and who you can't, but if you get a lucky path, you can make your way to the finals and then evade that one opponent which can snipe you. Carsten Nielsen, I think, is going to do what it always does. It's build a lot of zealots, and there we go. Gateways have been planted down, 3 of them, and the first zealot is out. Going to play tag with this SUV, and this is still working. But there are still so few bots which position a unit here to prevent that kind of golden goose kind of thing. Now Iron is out there with the vultures, and the vultures can out micro zealots, but the problem is there are a lot of zealots, and well, that's 1, that's going to be 2, and now you see where this huge APM comes from. This vulture is being microed over here. The other vulture is being microed over there, and the vulture has not... Oh, now it's been touched because it's found itself stuck. But basically it can out-micro these zealots all day for a living. And with only 2 vultures, 6 army supply, Iron has been able to whittle down a large number of zealots already. Now mining up the place as well. Got some more vultures coming up. Command center on the high ground, nicked that trick from Martin Rorick as Leaderbot, but of course pros have been doing that all the time, so that's not really astounding. And this one zealot hasn't come home for repairs. It's going to kill more zealots, and it's got quite a decent kill count already. And Carsten Nielsen, well, with only zealots, if the enemy's got vultures with the micro Iron has, it is going to be a bit of a sticky wicket. Oh, with the mines! Oh, that really hurt. And now you can see, okay, my keyboard is stuck. How do I do it? Okay, I can. Oh, I selected this stuff over here, but I need this. I am my selector is in up in the blog project thingy, and I can't unselect it. I can't use my keyboard to. Oh, but you see what's happening basically. Vultures over zealots, and that is the good game. Now Ironbot is really doing something absolutely crazy. It's quite beyond me. It's... oh dear, it's doing this thing again. It's distributing damage between all the buildings equally, because the building with the highest health has got the most threat value, and you will see in a minute everything explode nearly at once. Oh, that's so cute. And... yeah, there we go. Okay, so, nerdy laugh aside, Ironbot over Cast Nielsen. GG. Oh yeah, I don't like that. And I think this is the last game I'm going to broadcast today. It is Brian Weber playing a Zerg versus Andrei Kurdyumov. And Andrei is playing Terran. I must say I haven't really seen too much games of him. Brian Weber has been getting better and better, perhaps started a little bit too late to make a big splash at this tournament. Interesting to see what is going to go down. And immediately we see 2 barracks and a depot, so no problems producing units here, and perhaps they might find the ramp as well, or they might be sent out to find the enemy quicker. And look at this nice concave. Now the Zerglings are on to the Marines, and the Marines will have to run back pretty quickly. Or find some more friends to play with. But the other ones are running back as well, so that's not the best play, I should say. But now, ideally you'd like to have these Marines run back, these one to hold their ground. And now you've lost half a Marine in hit points already. Weber is going for 2 Sunkens and a hatchery. And that's very, very careful. And now the Marine Concave is there, trying to beat down and succeeding in beating down all the Zerglings and going on the offensive. That's pretty well done. 3 Sunkens might hold this easily, I should say. And here come the Marines, so we are going to find out quickly. These Zerglings are posturing a little bit, but not really getting too much done. Nothing much happening here as well. No tech, no gas. And another Sunken. So these Sunkens are very expensive for Zerg. They cost a worker, which could have been used mining minerals, and they cost 75, and so they cost... this is 500 minerals and 4 drones. That's a lot of resources which could have been spent on basically any kind of attacking unit, but now you'd be happy to have them because the Marines are coming in and they don't really dare attack these Sunken, so that's pretty okay for the time being. Now Weber is going to build a lot of drones. 15, now a handful of Zerglings, but the Zerglings can't get out and the Marines can't get in. So the question is, what's going to happen? And it looks like nothing much. Andrei is going to build more Marines and more, oh, another hatchery, that's always nice, lots of Sunkens. Problem is that Marines don't really dare attack into the Sunkens, and we've got even more Sunkens now, so this is a little bit of a Sunken defense thing going down. eBay is finished, but oh, we've got Hydras now. Oh, hello Hydras. But if you move outside of range of the Sunkens, you'll get hammered by these Marines, which are a legion. And look at this, 30 workers and only 1 base, so the Marines can't really get too much done. Expansion taken for Andrei. No gas still, so it's Marines versus Hydras, and the Sunkens are not really getting too much done. More Sunkens still, so the Marines, even if they were going to attack Sunkens, might have their job cut out for them. Unfortunately, they are not attacking. Oh, we've got a lurker, and if this lurker finishes... oh god! Oh god! Oh god, make me unsee it! These poor Marines. And now immediately the drone sneaks out, and perhaps... oh god! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! That was really brutal, and this base is outside of the attack path of the Terran, so... oh god, not again! There is no gas, there is no comsat, there are turrets, but there is no mobile detection, so that is going to hurt a little bit. No turret here. The third being started for Weber, and that is right on time because there is such a lot of... oh well, there are a lot of drones, but drones aren't mining. And Weber is spending its last bit of money on 2 hatcheries, and now, the refinery got started, But now these 3 lurkers have got everything well under control. Oh, the poor Marines. It really sucks to be a Marine this time. But these lurkers have things well under control. Minerals are being mined, gas is being harvested. There is no comsat and there is no academy. That's worse. Oh well, it's not worse. It's just as bad. So here we go. All the Marines are being butchered one at a time. 2 bases mining now for Weber, and Weber just got out by the nick of time. So just got lurkers ready before he timed out or froze because no more money. And is anything happening? Well, no, not that much, because Weber isn't building anything and Kurdiamov has left the game. So that's GG. This was this week's broadcast of the Student StarCraft AI tournament, where I have been showing you the lower end of the rankings at this moment. We are about 1/3, a little bit more than 1/3 through the game's round robin phase, so perhaps with 2 more weeks in January we'll be done with that and we'll know how the round of 16 is progressing. We'll be back next week with another broadcast. For now I say thank you for watching and listening and hope to see you again next week. Goodbye!